Has Iraq become the front line of a proxy war between the United States and Iran? That's the question that Iraqis, both young and old, are asking themselves.
We are peaceful. Fight your wars and resolve your problems, but do it far from Iraq.
Why must Iraq always be the battlefield for conflicts between regional powers?
Many political analysts say America's decision to eliminate Soleimani was taken unilaterally, without proper consideration for the regional fallout.
The American strike came from a direct order by President Trump alone, but its consequences for the future were not thought out. He should have consulted with Iraqi authorities before launching this kind of attack to see if there are scores to settle or political calculus to prevent Iraq from becoming a buffer state.
A buffer state between the U.S. and especially Iran, whose growing domination of Iraq's internal politics and security has been at the heart of mass street demonstrations that have shaken the country in recent months, as protesters demand an end to a corrupt political system they say is manipulated by Iran. After the fall of Saddam Hussein's totalitarian regime in 2003, brought on by a U.S. invasion, Tehran has extended its political and economic influence over its neighbor. And while there has been some celebration over the death of Soleimani, vilified for months by the protest movement, demonstrators have also denounced the violation of their country's sovereignty by the U.S.
That was a report by France 24's Brian Quinn. Let's now go back to London, where Mohammed Ali Shabani is standing by for more on that story. Can you tell us, Mohammed Ali, what would happen if foreign troops are indeed expelled from Iraq? What's the scenario that we're looking at?
Well, the expulsion of foreign troops from Iraq, I think, is going through the legal process, so the political process via parliament. And once that occurs, I think there's actually a chance of a real de-escalation, chiefly because of the removal of U.S. targets, not just for Iran, but also for the Iraqi militias. Bear in mind that in the U.S. attack, the only person killed was not Qasem Soleimani. He was also a senior operational commander of the Iraqi armed forces, the deputy commander of the so-called Popular Mobilization Forces. So I think the removal of U.S. forces prevents not just Iranian retaliation, but also Iraqi retaliation. So in a way, I think it's a good move to prevent tension, or further tension, if I put it better.
So you're speaking of possible de-escalation if indeed troops are expelled, but do we not have reason then to fear a potential Islamic State group resurgence?
That is a valid concern, but I think right now the Iraqi forces, together with their regional allies, are capable of keeping ISIS in the bottle within Iraq's borders, especially with their Kurdish partners. So I don't foresee that as an immediate threat.
And Iran will continue to fight the group if it need be?
Oh, they've never stopped, I think. They've been in coordination with the Iraqi government throughout, and in Syria they have separate arrangements there with other powers such as Russia. So I think the idea that the fight against ISIS will halt if U.S. troops leave Iraq, it's a bit far-fetched.
Last but not least, if we can keep it brief, are there any players, Mohammed Ali, that are likely to benefit from this fallout? Some observers have spoken about Russia potentially taking advantage of this vacuum.
Well, in the aftermath of Parliament's measure to expel U.S. troops, there are reports that the Russians have offered the Iraqi government access to S-400 missile defense systems, some of the most advanced in the world, to protect, quote-unquote, its sovereignty against aerial attack. As we've seen, for instance, in Syria, where Russia has also installed similar missile defense systems of advanced nature. Russia has been quite quick and keen on filling the gaps, or rather than just a vacuum, taking advantage of the mistakes of the United States. So again, I think the idea of the U.S. leaving and there be a complete vacuum, the fight against ISIS halting, and no other actors stepping in to uphold the security in Iraq is a bit far-fetched.